Hey, good day, folks. Dr. X Keyscore here with video number 6 on the program. And video number 6 is going to discuss directed conversation. For those of you who don't know what directed conversation is, it's a revelation of your personal information in front of you by total strangers. So directed conversation is you walking through a store, walking through a public location. Maybe you're in the grocery store reading the ingredients on the side of a can of something, and you have an individual pass behind you, and whether they are with a friend or on the phone, they are going to reference something personal about you. It could be your mother's failure to have health insurance and the fact she's presently in the hospital. It could be regarding some aspect of your medical record, what you had for breakfast that morning in the privacy of your own home, personal things you relayed to your friend 2 days before. They could discuss contents of your email, your passwords, your security questions, anything to let you know that you are being overtly harassed and that they have access to all of your private communications and the goings-on within your residence. This aspect of the program is coordinated through DHS funded threat fusion centers. And remember, people, threat fusion centers, even though they're federally funded and you have a host of mostly federal agencies, they're quote unquote overseen by the state authorities, by the state police. Really? The state police are overseeing federal operations? Okay. How does that sound for oversight, people? There isn't any. They are a law unto themselves. Threat fusion centers in the deep state might as well declare themselves a sovereign nation, because that's a sovereign, hostile nation, because that's how they act. So back to directed conversations. This is going to occur. This occurs very frequently. Number one of the big places is shopping. The other one is in the workplace, and is an aspect of workplace mobbing. And workplace mobbing is something that I'm going to get into in another video, because that deserves some discussion by itself. However, for those of you that are experiencing extreme harassment facilitated by rogue personnel in the federal government, you know that a lot of issues take place in the workplace. They arrange for this. That's an attempt to financially cripple you. So what they do is they release all of your personal information from the fake dossier, mixed in with real aspects of your private life. So they're going to isolate you at your workplace initially with a fake dossier. They'll approach 1 or 2 people, and then it becomes like a cancer. And before you know it, you'll be sitting at your desk and work, and you'll have a coworker walk behind you and reference the movie you saw at home the night before that you didn't tell anyone about. Or the conversation you had with your best friend of 10 years, your best friend who you hadn't spoken with for 10 years. Anything that's personal to let you know that, number one, everything you do and say, even if it's in the privacy of your vehicle or residence, is fair game for them. And number two, they're letting you know in no uncertain terms that you're being targeted and harassed. Now, very often the directed conversation can mix in with neuro-linguistic programming. And that's also something I'm going to have to get into in another video. But sometimes directed conversation has very negative results. The individual, what was his name, in Virginia a few years back that shot newscasters or reporters, I believe his name was Bryce Williams. Originally, he complained, when his complaints were on the internet and his statements were on the internet before they were scrubbed, everything that he complained about implied that he was an FBI, DHS target. He complained about a neuro-linguistic programming protocol, even if he didn't know what he was describing. For those of you that are familiar with the terms and the heinous aspects of this illegal program, we know what these acronyms stand for, and we also know well enough that when we hear a layman or a person who's not familiar with the technology or the tactics within this protocol, they'll describe it in pretty simple terms. But for someone who's been around, it's easy for us to put the pieces of the puzzle together. So Bryce Williams was actually a victim of directed conversation and referenced that in some of his statements. So not only was he being subject to directed conversation in grocery stores with people and he was a black fellow, and in his original statements he was implying that people were following him around the grocery store with watermelons in their cart, mentioning the color green all the time, mentioning melons all of the time, and then in the workplace he claimed the same activities. People wearing specific colors, commenting about taking melons on picnics, and leaving slices of watermelon out in conspicuous places, as well as in the refrigerator at his workplace. That's directed conversation, which is part of the Neuro-Linguistic Programming protocol. And I think maybe that's a good place to stop and lead in for video 7. In video 7, I will discuss neuro-linguistic programming, which is a very important component of their psychological operation. Hey guys, X Key Score here, Dr. X. Once again, thanks for your time and support. I'll try and get another 1 or 2 videos up today. Thanks, and if you would like to reach me, discuss anything with me, please follow me on Twitter at XKeyscore1. Thanks and peace out.